and welcome back to an episode of Trick and Treat. Last time we played this, uh, we figured out that our name was, I think, Alex, and we were in the woods, and we ran into a cat. So let's begin where we left off. The sounds of our steps combined with that of the occasional nocturnal owl is the only thing we could hear. Wait a minute. Hold up. Yes, there we go. Anyway, it was a day like any other, so normal that it was almost painful. The only special thing that could be said about it is that it's October 31st. Far were the memories when I was a kid and went out with my friends to ask for sweets from house to house. Just remembering it made me sigh. I feel nozzle, no, some word that I can't say. Some things were better when I was a child, or at least seemed like it. There were some who had great costume, whether superhero or monster. Sorry about that. I am trying to put my glasses on so I could read. My friends and I, on the other hand, had to use our imaginations. Creativity was our costume, you could say, no matter how funny it could sound. I remember that my mother once painted red my face and told you will be the devil. But it seemed only she saw it that way. When we went from home to home, everyone said I was the tomato man. That's sad. But those things didn't matter to me since we always had a good time. Well, that's what matters. Dot 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 dot. If I only asked for candy now, even if I had the best condom, I'm sure no one would give me any. Except perhaps a scolding for acting like a child when I am 17 years old. Hey, I'm like 19 and I still like trick-or-treating and everything like that. But anyway, I can't stay in the past. I must live in the present no matter how little exciting that might be. Dot 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 dot. Back to reality, we are a group of friends who don't have any plans for today. We are still not old enough to go to a disco. How old do you have to be to go to a disco? What even is a disco? Is that like a bar or something? Because a disco, where I live, is just like partying and everything, and like a disco club where you actually like do disco. Anyway, and I doubt guys as us would have any luck in that environment. The other option would be to go to a party, meet girls, and have fun. Everything perfect except that nobody has invited us. Not being popular has its disadvantages. Parties are not fun anyway. Oh, our name was Axel. Okay. Hey Axel, let's have a couple matches. What do you say? My friend Steven. Hey, we have a friend named Steven! Called my attention while playing with the game console. Rushhead? I believe that was the game called. A fast and quite complicated fighting game for me. Oh, so he was saying the name. I was confused. Anyway, I would normally agree to play with him, but for some reason I don't feel in the mood today. I have no desire to play now. I replied with discouragement. I almost feel bad for doing it. Boring. The AI is no rival for me. But he said he sucked at the game, so... Anyway, Steven said with confidence. that you're playing on normal difficulty does not help your argument. I don't feel like losing, but if you want, you can challenge to Alfred. Or, yeah, challenge to Alfred, I said, leading the attention to my other friend. I don't know how to play that, answered Alfred, standing for a second. He is sitting behind the PC, but it seems that he isn't doing anything interesting. The screen only shows lots of text. I think he is in Wikipedia. Hey, don't you have something more fun to do? I asked with discouragement, without even thinking about what he was reading. Alfred looked at me surprised. The actual problem of society is that people are not interested in discovering their history. He is one of those pseudo intellectuals always looking for any rare information to appear smarter than others. Well, that's a good friend. Kind of ish. I don't know. When we forgot our past mistakes, we are doomed to repeat them. He added later. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so we record for 6 minutes. We'll go a little bit longer. What are you talking about? The village is small. Its story has no interesting at all. Nothing outside of normal has ever happened to it, or in it. Alfred laughed mockingly after hearing that. Your ignorance is worthy of praise. He pauses, filling his chest with pride. The very fact it is a small town is the reason it's full of mysteries. Did you know that 20 years ago on this day a man disappeared? So, what about it? I asked without being impressed or even interested in the least. Thinking like that happened all time in all places. Actually, no, it doesn't happen all the time. Okay. As I thought, you don't know the history despite living in this very place, Alfred said while adjusting his glasses in an ignorant gesture. So he's kind of like every smart person that has glasses or anything, the stereotypical person. Anyway, there is a legend behind the disappearance. That is what I was reading. After listening to him, I looked back at the computer screen with curiosity. It's then I noticed that it was not Wikipedia, but some other page. Come on, read this and learn a little, Alfred said, inviting us to read what was on his screen. Both Stephen and I moved closer to read it. Town of Albingdon, Oxfordshire, country, 1994. I came to this town with only 4,000 inhabitants to support them in an investigation. Truth is that never in my life have I ever seen something so strange. I wouldn't say your typical detective-ish nonsense that I have seen thousands of strange things in my life. I've seen many crimes, yes, some difficult to solve, but all of them were human. Even if you don't know how they managed to perpetrate the crimes, you know that they are people like anyone else. In this case, I don't think I'm able to say the same thing. Truth is that I can't understand what happened. I was calling for the disappearance of a man named Matthew Graham, 23 years, single, The last time he was seen was returning home from a Halloween party. He had drank alcohol but was still sober. At least that's what witnesses say. Anyway, this is not something which can be explained with a simple drunkenness. He apparently got lost on his way home and decided to enter the forest called Oakwood. It had rained yesterday, so the ground was wet and muddy. We could easily find his trails, which were leading deep inside the forest. Apparently, he walked for 3 hours before stopping. I said stop, but the truth is we don't know what happened then. The track suddenly ended up clearing in the forest. And that's all. There were no evidence of struggle, no other trace, or pieces of clothing on the ground. There was no blood, no more footsteps, or anything else. The depth of his last footprints and the positions they were in indicated that he was still walking. At no point he stood still. It was as if he had vaporized into the air, with all his clothes in the middle of his walk. Obviously, I can't believe such a thing, but I can't give another explanation. The only thing I remember is that near the footprints I sensed a faint smell of rot. However, there were no animal corpses nearby. It was ridiculous to think he suddenly started to decay and became earth. In the end, the case was closed in just 3 days. With no evidence of any kind, we couldn't say anything but that he decided to escape from the village. However, while officially there were no more to do, I couldn't sleep in peace. Thinking about what could have happened to him took away my sleep. In my mind, I thought all sort of theories. Like maybe everything was a plain development by Matthew. But in the end of the day, it all seemed impossible. I decided to investigate more on the issue. I searched the town for similar stories, and to my surprise, I found 4 more. All young men. The story was always the same. They walked into the forest alone, disappearing without a trace. Even more curious is that all of them disappeared on the same date, October 31st. But there is more. There is more. The detail that completely eliminates the possibility that there is a killer or a kidnap behind this, and that is separation of the years. Roger Bacon, disappeared in 1924. Michael Smith disappeared in 1867. Jason Black disappeared in 1830. And the worst of all, Oswald Taylor disappeared in 1707. Simply couldn't be possible. How was Oswald Taylor the worst of all? My curiosity led to dig deeper, and I thought the answer may be in the place of the forest. Then when I discovered that it seemed to be simple and boring forest actually hid a great story. Before it was called Oakwood or Oak Forest, the place was called Wych Woods. The word Wych is a huge similarity for witch, so it's the Witch's Woods. Taking into consideration that it is an old name and language changes over time, that indicates that it was the Forest of Witches. Yeah. Apparently more than 400 years ago, the people of the village believed witches lived in the woods. Unfortunately, almost all the information is already lost. There were stories told in voice, without a proper written record. I just know with the change of religion to Christians, people stopped seeing the witches with good eyes and began to hunt them. Apparently, the last one before her death cast a curse on the forest, which even today should continue to exist. Well, that's what you get for being an ass to a witch. Anyway, obviously I cannot accept something like that as the answer. In the end, I have no other choice than accepting that each one of them escaped from the village, using the legend of the forest to make it look like it was something supernatural. Okay, I think that's a good place to leave it off for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe. I make videos every single day. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.